We have with us today Vinayak Bhat, the Chief Product Officer of Ultraviolette Automotive, for a quick chat. For those of you who haven't seen the sporty looking electric motorcycles made by Ultraviolette, I'm putting up some pics on the screen for you. Now, something very interesting had happened a few days back. Bajaj Auto had made some remark about Ultraviolette, and Ultraviolette has taken a sharp note of that comment. We will talk about that and other things too in this session. Welcome to this podcast, Vinayak.
Thank you, Akshay.
So Vinayak, your co-founder and CEO Narayan Subramaniam has challenged Bajaj Auto along with other OEMs to compete with Ultraviolette's bikes.
Right.
Race format in around 90 days of time.
Yeah.
So what is the motivation behind throwing this challenge?
Well, I think the whole premise of the racing platform is to be able to showcase technology, right? And Ultraviolette has always been in the forefront to say that we are coming out with high performance tech that is designed and made in India. And this opportunity kinds of sets a new benchmark in where Ultraviolette stands as compared to the competition, irrespective of whether it's the fact that it's an EV or an ICE engine.
All right, but it didn't seem that Mr. Bajaj had questioned the technical capabilities of your bike. He had only commented on the sales of your bikes, accompanied by his belief that electric motorcycles as a category aren't suited to go electric probably. So what makes you believe that India is actually ready for electric motorcycles, including performance bikes?
Right. I'm sure Mr. Bajaj had his reasons, and he's right in all ways. But our point is the same, that what the Pulsar brand did to Indian motorcycling, right? It was not about commuter segment. It was not about how much mileage or how efficient it is. It's about a dream. It's about aspiration. It's about performance. And that's what the Pulsar KTM lineup, everything stands for, which is in line with Ultraviolетte's philosophy itself, that the motorcycle industry is not just about utility. It's also about passion. It's also about a dream. Every child's dream is to have a nice poster on their wall or dream about their dream vehicle. And that's the dream that we are trying to build for people. Yeah.
All right. Some specifications of Ultraviolette S77 Mark II, your latest one.
Yeah.
Specifications like the top speed, the power output,
right.
and I think the 0 to 60 acceleration.
Right.
These specs have a striking similarity with the Bajaj Pulsar NS 400 or Dominar 400, apart from the torque. So, was this an intentional benchmarking, or did it just happen to be so?
So, it's also about showcasing what the machine is capable of. And when we started off, it was to take on head on the 300 to 400cc category, because that is where the performance segment is. And we didn't think that we should go any lower than this performance, because it has become a standard of its sort. Plus, EVs were perceived as something that's boring and something that's slow, something that's cheap. To outcompete all of the competition, your specifications must be better, if not the same. So over the years, of course, we've learned. I mean, we've had a lot of products in the industry to cater to in this segment of vehicles. And today you've got a variety of 400cc vehicles, 300cc vehicles, where the performance is not really I would say a limiting factor. And with the S77 Mark II, the 155 kmph top speed, the 100 Newton meter torque, the 323 kilometers of range is kind of industry leading in every aspect.
Can you also talk a little bit about the difference in torque?
The main thing about EVs is that you've got a lot of torque right from get-go at 0 RPM, which negates the reason or fundamental requirement of a gearbox. A gearbox in an IC engine will have typically 5 or 6 speeds, which it needs to have rev matching to get the max out of it. So you rev the engine to the optimum RPM to get the peak torque that all of the specifications talk about, and that outputs through a system of gearing and reduction ratios to be able to get into the wheel. Now, when we talk about EVs, the motor is capable of producing much higher torque than an IC engine, and it's instant. There's no idling of sorts, there's no rev matching, there's nothing there. It's just that you pump in electricity and then you would get this mechanical burst of energy and then power, which is directly transmitted. So when we say 100 Newton meter of torque, it's at the motor shaft level, and it goes through multiplication. It goes through a standard single step reduction to the rear wheel, producing over 500 Newton meters of torque or 600 Newton meters of torque.
So Vinayak, a race between motorcycle machines can only determine which one is the faster.
Right.
But then there are so many other aspects that go into making a motorcycle a product worth buying from a customer's perspective, like
Of course.
comfort, dependability, after-sales service, price. That's very important.
Yeah.
How do you think your products stack up against other non-performance, oriented parameters?
So I would only compare the IC engines in this category. It may be the other KTM's, Yamahas, and the Pulsars, etc. So in that segment, the F77 Mark II it's amazing with what it delivers with respect to performance. That has been established. But as you mentioned, durability and longevity, and then the economic sense of owning it. In all of these three aspects, I think there is proven record from what we offer. The fact that we offer 8 lakh kilometer battery warranty or a drivetrain warranty is again industry first. 8 lakh 8 years. We are the only ones because we've tested data and we've designed to last or outlast the vehicle life itself. Typically, people don't really own motorcycles more than 5 years, but even if you were to extend that, it goes way beyond your ownership experience itself. And it's not like the battery is dead after that time. It's just that we are giving a warranty of that, which means it's good as new. And durability, right? So we recently released a video where F77 is doing all sorts of things what it's not supposed to be doing, just pinning on the point that it's been tested in the roughest terrains. We've covered millions of kilometers. Our durability riders ride every day 600 to 800 kilometers in 3 shifts over and over again, and over a 15 vehicle fleet is present today. Each of those vehicles have covered more than 1 lakh kilometers, and the regular wear and tear components obviously need to be maintained, which is your chain sprocket, braking system. These are the normal things that any motorcycle will do, but there's nothing more to it. There's no oil filter, there's no engine oil, there is no clutch pads, none of that needs to be replaced as such. Right. So it is in that way economical for a person to own, because over time you not only save on fuel cost, you also save on maintenance cost.
So from a product development perspective, Vinayak, what are the challenges in designing and making an electric performance bike?
Yeah.
A regular electric commuter bike? What do you have to say about that?
Okay, very, very interesting question, because unlike the scooter market of EVs, the power output essentially today stands at 8 kilowatt or sub 8 kilowatt, and the battery packs in the market also are 3 to 4 kilowatt hour. That's the two numbers that you have for the entire scooter or the entire EV segment, including some motorcycles as well. Mm-hmm. When it came to making the F77 Mark II, you had this challenge that you had to output so much more power, so much more torque, so much more battery capacity. It's the biggest battery pack in Asia, I can say, today, as of today. The 12 kilowatt hour installed capacity battery pack producing 30-40 kilowatts of power is not a commodity that I can purchase from the existing supply chain. So every aspect of the vehicle, from its vehicle control unit to the charger, to the battery management system, to the battery pack, and each of these had to be in-house designed and not dependent on a supply chain that can give us parts, right? And that's what differentiates us from the other EV manufacturers in India, and even many four-wheelers as well. In the two-wheeler segment, there is a zone where it's not easy to engineer a performance motorcycle because of the space constraint, the cost constraint, and the supply chain constraint. So that was the most challenging aspect, where we had to engineer everything on our own to be able to make something that could deliver such outputs. And that goes into safety, certification, durability, extra, and all of those.
Right.
Yeah.
But electric motorcycle sales haven't been very impressive in India till now.
Right.
What do you think are the main reasons for this, and what are your plans for increasing the sales of Ultraviolette?
Yeah.
And also, if you could tell us, which new bikes do you have in pipeline for us?
Right. Sure. So Ultraviolette obviously is expanding to not only in the domestic market, but also its international expansion starting this year. Our showrooms are already active in other countries like Turkey, Germany, Spain, and we've already certified for Europe, which unlocks a huge market segment of sorts because we can now start exporting vehicles. We also have the domestic network expansion. So every last 2 weeks, we've been opening a new showroom. It may be Pune, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Kochi. So all of these showrooms are now active, and then add to another touch points in these metro cities. And this will continue to happen until we open 15 to 18 showrooms in the next quarter or so. This expands our essential touch points in the city, in the country, where you can have more test rides, more engagement, and more visibility per se. When it comes to EV motorcycle sales, I think we are at an influx, or we are at a tipping over point where people must realize what these are capable of. And this is something that's hard to establish, especially two aspects. A new technology and a new brand are very hard to put into a person's consideration section of a buying process.
True.
If you are aware of Ultraviolette and you want to consider it, you must be aware of what the technology brings in and why the cost and what are the benefits that you can get out of it. So this challenge takes time, but it's happening. The Mark 1 to Mark 2 and so on. The discovery right now is a lot higher. The demand from people are a lot higher as compared to the last quarter. So you can see that in our sales numbers eventually. And our goal is simple, that we want to be able to make the adoption of EVs faster, and it will happen in two ways. One, by delivering a great product, and the accessible cost. So while we may say that EVs are expensive, but if you look at the 300 to 400 cc vehicle category, it's in that zone of 2.5 to 3 lakh on-road, ex-showroom price. And on-road price of EVs are even much, because they don't have any road tax, they're much lesser. So you're actually getting the vehicle at the ex-showroom cost itself.
Right.
People may not be aware of this. It's not ex-showroom plus another 30-40% for on-road price. So the price is very, very competitive. And whatever you spend now, you'll make back in the next 2 years of operation.
So thanks a lot for this
Thank
chat,
you.
Vinayak.
Thank you, Akshay.
We look forward to see how your products fare in the market, and we also look forward for the next lineup of your products.
Of course.